Have you ever wondered what it feels like to lose everything overnight and be forced to seek refuge in a foreign land? Let's journey together into the heart of the unseen crisis that is gripping the world today, the global refugee crisis. It's a narrative that binds together millions of people, each with unique stories, yet sharing a common thread of displacement. We are going to focus on the Middle East, a region that has seen more than its fair share of this crisis. Imagine waking up to a once vibrant neighborhood, now a battlefield. The streets where children once played are now riddled with the echoes of gunfire and the haunting remnants of war. This is the reality for many people in the Middle East, where war and political instability have forced countless individuals to flee their homes. The reasons behind this surge in refugees are manifold. War undoubtedly has played a significant role, but it's not just about the physical conflicts. It's about the political instability that war creates, the uncertainty and fear that it breeds. And then there's the economic hardship. When economies crumble, when livelihoods are destroyed, people are left with no choice but to seek better opportunities elsewhere. It's a desperate search for survival, for a chance to provide a better future for their children. But let's not forget the human element in this crisis. Every refugee is a person, with dreams and hopes just like you and me. They are mothers and fathers, sons and daughters, forced to leave everything they knew behind to face an uncertain future in a foreign land. So, as we delve deeper into this crisis, let's remember to see the people behind the numbers, to understand their struggles, their fears, and their hopes. What if it was you in their shoes? Would you be prepared for such a drastic and sudden change? To truly understand the depth of this crisis, we must delve into the annals of Middle Eastern history. It's a complex tapestry, woven with threads of conflicts, political shifts, and economic downturns. All these elements have combined over time to displace people from their homes, creating the refugee crisis we see today. Let's start by examining the historical conflicts that have marred the region. The Middle East has long been a hotbed for conflict, largely due to the strategic and economic value of its resources. The Arab-Israeli conflict, the Iran-Iraq War, and the Gulf War are just some of the major conflicts that have plunged the region into turmoil. Each conflict has resulted in massive displacement of people who have had to flee their homes to escape the violence. Political shifts have also played a critical role. The rise and fall of various regimes, combined with the fluctuations in power dynamics, have led to instability. Political oppression and violence have forced many to seek refuge in foreign lands. The Arab Spring, a series of anti-government protests, uprisings, and armed rebellions that spread across much of the Arab world in the early 2010s, is a prime example of this. Economic downturns, fueled by these conflicts and political shifts, have exacerbated the situation. The economies of war-torn countries have struggled to recover, leading to high unemployment rates and widespread poverty. This economic instability has made it impossible for many to rebuild their lives at home, forcing them to seek opportunities elsewhere. It's important to note that these historical events are not isolated incidents. They are interconnected, each one influencing and shaping the others. The conflicts fuel political shifts, which in turn cause economic downturns. This cyclical pattern has created a domino effect, leading to the displacement of people and the subsequent refugee crisis. History, as it often does, provides us with a mirror to see the present more clearly. By understanding the historical context, we can begin to comprehend the depth of the crisis and start to explore potential solutions. Behind every statistic, there is a human story waiting to be told. Let's take a moment to delve deeper into the personal stories of those affected, to truly understand the plight of the refugees. These are not just figures or faceless entities, but individuals with their own narratives of struggle and resilience. Meet Fatima, a mother of 3. Her home was her sanctuary, a place filled with laughter and warmth, until it was reduced to rubble. Fatima, like many others, had to make the heart-wrenching decision to leave behind everything she knew and loved. Despite the overwhelming odds, she managed to keep hope alive, transforming her struggle into a tale of resilience, strength, and unwavering willpower. Then there's Ahmed, a schoolteacher who cherished the joy of imparting knowledge. He had to abandon his profession, his passion, when his school was destroyed. But Ahmed didn't let his circumstances dictate his spirit. He started an informal school under a tree, proving that the thirst for knowledge cannot be quenched by adversity. We also cannot forget the story of young Amina, who was merely a child when she was forced to grow up overnight. She lost her childhood to conflict but found her strength in adversity. Amina picked up the pieces of her shattered innocence and channeled her energy into helping others, becoming a beacon of hope for many. These stories, and countless others like them, paint a picture of the human spirit's indefatigable resilience. It is important to remember that behind each statistic we discuss, there is a Fatima, an Ahmed, or an Amina. Their struggles are real, their courage remarkable, and their hope infectious. In the face of immense adversity, they have shown an unwavering determination to survive, to thrive, and to rebuild. Their stories are a testament to the power of the human spirit, the power of hope, and the power of resilience. These are not mere numbers, but real people with dreams, hopes, and fears just like us. In the face of such a massive crisis, how has the world responded? Pondering this question takes us into the heart of the international response to the refugee crisis. It's been a tale of mixed reactions. On one side, we've seen an outpouring of generosity and sympathy from individuals and organizations alike. International organizations, nonprofits, and governments have played significant roles, stepping up to provide aid to refugees. United Nations agencies like the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees have been at the forefront of this response, managing refugee camps, providing emergency relief, and advocating for refugee rights. They've been instrumental in coordinating the international response and providing a lifeline to millions. Nonprofit organizations, too, have made their mark. They've been the agile responders, often filling gaps where larger organizations and governments can't reach. From providing medical care to setting up schools and refugee camps, their work has been invaluable. Then, there are the governments. Some have opened their borders, welcoming refugees with open arms. They've provided resettlement opportunities, a chance for refugees to start anew. Others, however, have been less welcoming. There have been instances of policies built around fear and prejudice rather than empathy and understanding. But then there's the other side of the coin. The overwhelming scale of the crisis has tested the limits of international aid. Resources are stretched thin, aid workers are overwhelmed, and for all the work done, for all the lives touched, there are still millions of refugees in dire need. This is, without a doubt, a complex crisis with no easy solutions. It's a crisis that asks us to look beyond borders, beyond politics, beyond fear. It's a crisis that demands empathy, understanding, and above all, action. Yet here we are. Despite the efforts, the crisis continues to grow. Is there a solution in sight? The answer to that question lies not just in the hands of those in power, but in the hearts and minds of every individual who dares to care. The question remains, what can we do to make a difference? The refugee crisis is a global issue, and it requires a global response. But that doesn't mean we, as individuals, are powerless. Far from it. Every one of us has the ability to contribute to the solution. Let's start with the most immediate and tangible way: donations. Nonprofit organizations and humanitarian groups are on the front lines of this crisis, providing vital resources such as food, medical care, education, and shelter. Every penny you donate can help sustain these life-saving operations. But donations are not just about money. Clothing, food, medical supplies, these are all necessary items that can make a significant difference in the lives of refugees. Check with local organizations to see what items they need and consider organizing a collection drive in your community. For those who wish to get more hands-on, volunteering is a powerful way to help. Many organizations need volunteers to help distribute aid, teach skills, or simply provide a listening ear to those who've endured unimaginable hardships. But perhaps one of the most impactful ways we can contribute is by advocating for policy changes. This crisis is not simply a result of war or conflict, but also of policies that have failed to protect the most vulnerable among us. By raising awareness, lobbying our leaders, and voting for policies that prioritize human rights, we can help shape a world that is more compassionate and just. Lastly, remember to educate yourself and others. Knowledge is power, and the more people understand about the crisis, the more likely they are to take action. Remember, no effort is too small when it comes to making a difference in someone's life. Whether you choose to donate, volunteer, advocate, or educate, you are contributing to a brighter future for all. Let's stand together, united in our humanity, and choose to act.